Remember the White House cocaine saga? Back in July, the West Wing was evacuated and streets were closed around the White House after a bag of white powder was found in one of the guest lockers. And they still haven't been able, to find out whose it was. Well, this story is back in the spotlight this week after the Daily Mail revealed new exclusive details and photos, and I am pleased to say the journalist who broke this story, the Daily Mail's senior U.S. political reporter Nikki Schwab, joins me now to talk about it. Nikki, thank you so much for coming on the U.S. Report. Tell us, what are these new discoveries about this scandal?
Well, James, first of all, the biggest discovery really is these photos. We had never seen the actual images of, as you can see right on your screen there, of the cocaine found in these lockers. And so they actually gave us a number of images that sort of showed the entire locker set. As you can see, there's a man who's wearing gloves who is swiping the cocaine to figure out what the powdered substance was. And there's also pictures of the exterior of the West Executive entrance, which is where the lockers, once you go into the White House, they're right in the doorway there.
And what are these lockers used for? What do people put in there? Who are the people who normally would be using these things? Did it say to put a mobile phone in, a cell phone in if you're going into a secure area, that sort of thing?
Yes, exactly. But what's interesting about that entrance is that a number of people use it. So you'll have staff, like White House staff, not necessarily, people that are already in the Oval Office, but people coming over from the old executive office building. They would potentially use it from other departments, government agencies. They would potentially use these lockers, but tour groups also use these lockers. And so that's why the pool of potential suspects for who, brought the cocaine in is so large. The Secret Service determined it would be around 500 people. And then the other caveat is that during this time period, the Situation Room, which is located nearby, was under construction. So the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, when he was asked about it, he actually thought that it was potentially a construction worker that brought the cocaine in and then left it at one of these lockers. Another sort of interesting tidbit is that this locker number 50, the key that you use to sort of sign out this locker, it has disappeared. We still do not know where it is. And so potentially, if you find the key, you find the person that brought in the cocaine, but we do not know who that individual is, obviously.
Well, Nikki, I find this all very hard to believe, though, because, the White House is an incredibly surveilled building. There'd be cameras absolutely everywhere, logs, and, of course, we all know from all sorts of other incidents that the government has facial recognition technology and tracking technology. I find it very strange. This has got a lot of people obviously thinking that there is some sort of cover-up. What do you think, and why have they really not identified who the person was? Could it be because it might compromise the Biden family?
I mean, I totally get it. And also, it is strange, right? You've got all of these cameras, but from everyone I've talked to, there really wasn't a camera that was, at this particular angle who could see, the exact individual. And by the way, these lockers are fairly small. So, if you have someone's body in front of it, putting items in and out all day, you might not be able to determine, who the suspect is, which is why I think it's, this huge group of people. But I do also understand why people were suspicious, because when you think about cocaine, you obviously think about Hunter Biden, all of his troubles. And so that's not a correlation that I think the Bidens, want in this matter.
Well, so that's which brings me up to, this question, which is that you would think that because of obviously the questions around Hunter, and everything that goes along with that they would want to find some sort of other suspect to put the attention on them. But Nikki Schwab, what is your verdict? Is it a conspiracy? Is it a cover-up? Or is it just a stuff-up?
I think it's just a mystery. I think there's just too many people that it could have been, and they don't have the camera angles. And when I've talked to, source after source, they understand investigations, they understand how the Secret Service works, they understand now, the actual bag of cocaine went to the FBI. Everything seems like it's been above board. So I think it's going to be a mystery unless, D.C. is a small town. Someone, fesses up to it at an event at some point, and then maybe we find out who it is, right? Someone's at a cocktail party and they brag that they brought cocaine into the White House. That, I feel like, is probably the most the best way we'll ever figure out who actually did this.
Well, we'll wait and see. Nikki Schwab, thank you so much for bringing us on the latest in the mystery of the Biden White House and the bag of cocaine. Thank you so much for your time.